Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5.
You're getting ripped, by the way, via the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. According to Gaardsy, writes Paul, LSU, Kentucky, Mizzou, Florida, Arkansas, etc., are not known for basketball excellence. Okay. Any thoughts? You want to respond? Any retorts? Any clever quips?
I mean, Missouri just got there.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since Dale Brown's been the coach at LSU. Our guy, we love Dale Brown. Remember, we had a great...
Is he still alive?
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we had some great interviews with him over the years.
Dale Brown interview. What were the other teams that he mentioned?
Kentucky.
Kentucky's good.
Florida, Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas had its moments
they
with
have
Nolan
been
Richardson.
Good. Yeah, they have. Well, I think the issue in the SEC is the number of teams again, right? It's not just the top ones, but the number of teams.
I didn't write the story talking about, 10 years ago we had 3 teams in.
It's changed, yeah.
A lot has changed, yeah. I'm actually, I got to tweet something out here. I'm in an Indy rampage, as you know.
It's not their fault nobody showed up for the Gopher game.
It's not that. No, but first of all, that is what's funny is that's what was propagated a year ago, like day one, an Indiana fan saying nobody's here. Day one. Nobody shows up day one anywhere at all.
Yeah, sad but true.
And he's actually been trolled by Gopher fans today, that same individual, and he's like, it'll be packed tomorrow. Like, well, yeah, Indiana and Purdue play. Of course it's going to be packed tomorrow. But Chris Collins opened his Big Ten press conference today, victorious press conference, thanking the Big Ten for putting the Wildcats in a hotel in Indy that apparently had rooms at 85 degrees last night. His quote was, "We are used to being treated like this by the league."
Wow.
I'm retweeting it on top of it because I haven't even told you this. Last week at the women's tournament, we had like a squatter arrested at our hotel.
No.
That was only brought to the attention by the hotel by my partner, Lynette Shoquist, when she went to her room and someone was in there.
Come on.
And then went to another room. And,
like a squatter?
Yeah.
Oh, so it wasn't like just somebody was in the wrong room. It was
this individual was smoking in the hallways.
Oh my God.
So that person was I'm just going over the top of Chris Collins here. The hotel was also under construction, but got a notice to stop working because of
Well, here's the problem.
issue.
You got so many teams now, they're run out of hotel space, even in Indianapolis.
Not every city would have that problem. We got plenty of rooms in Minneapolis for that.
We do. We have a lot of we have way too many unused hotel rooms, you're right.
All right, so let me just get that out.
Get that out there, yeah.
Yeah, my poor partner Lynette's just trying to check into her room.
That's jolting.
There's ashes on the desk. It was bad.
I've walked into a room where someone has already checked in there, and it was just a miscommunication of who was in what room. That's happened occasionally over the years for me. Not a lot, but this would be far more jolting. Whereas somebody is like, no, you're not even supposed to be here at all, and there you are.
Yeah. Didn't feel 100% safe.
No, that's not real comforting, I wouldn't say.
No, it's not. But everything's better in Indy. We know that. We're so grateful that we get to be in Indy.
That's for sure.
Diana Rossini from The Athletic, she's been on top of a lot of the Vikings stuff the last handful of months. Tweeted this out about an hour ago. Viking decision makers are still evaluating their options at quarterback, including the possibility of signing Aaron Rodgers. The 4-time MVP is intrigued by the idea of playing in Minnesota. For now, it's a waiting game, sources tell Mike Silver and me. The Vikings also did officially agree to terms with Jason Hargrave today, the defensive tackle, after he was waived, cut, whatever you want to call it, from San Francisco. 2-year deal worth $19 million guaranteed. But the never-ending A-Raj steam and speculation and the fact that no one, speaking of ashes, has put the cigarette out on this thing. They're continuing to smoke him if they got him on the A-Raj bit, and no one is putting it out. So there you go.
I think there's some discussion going on. That still doesn't mean it's going to happen, but if you're looking at it from the perspective of Rodgers, like he's got to mull over some ideas, and there's no guarantee he picks here, he'll pick here. The question is whether he'll have the opportunity, right? And I guess then you're back to what the finances are going to be, whether he has inflated demands that will make it impossible for the Vikings to want to go forward. But to me, if you try to turn this into, well, he's got some teams to think about, and we'll see if he might reject the purple. He ain't rejecting the purple. The Purple might reject him yet. That could still happen. But clearly there's too many responsible reporters, Seifert included, who, as much as we kid about shock jockeying, aren't going to go down this road or leave this road open if they haven't been given reason to leave it open. And they have. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. Again, let's remember, if you bring him in, you're bringing him in to start. You're not bringing him in to compete for the job. You're not bringing him in to just be insurance. God, what great insurance in case JJ can't start the season on time. There's no way A-Rod is going to work under that condition.
Even though he did commercials for State Farm Insurance.
No, that's true.
You would not want him to be your insurance.
Yeah.
Or he would not want to be the insurance provider.
Yeah. A couple people are also mentioning Flacco. Again, if the Rodgers dream dies, but in Flacco's case, you could literally bring him in as the backup, right? I think at this point, even he would understand that. I have no problem with that. I mean, he can't move, but he can throw. And again, it's a backup quarterback position. We probably lose our minds in it too much. Usually they don't play. We, unfortunately, are more sensitive to that issue because we've had quarterbacks get hurt, right?
Yeah.
And so we do pay attention to it, probably more than most places might. But yeah, I have no difficulty with that. He can still sling the ball around.
So we'll keep an eye out, see if anything is determined. Just a couple of things put it to bed. Rodgers signing with the Steelers or the Vikings signing Gardner Minshew or
neither of those
Winston.
things have happened.
They have not.
It's undeniable. You can be bothered by it. You can accept it, but that's part of the reason we have been staying on this as much as we have. Until there's reason to not, and then we'll stop.
Colorado Avalanche were the hottest team in hockey coming into XL Energy Center last night. They had won 6 in a row, and then they hopped on the Gus bus, or the Wild hopped on the Gus bus, and there was no stopping them. No stopping anybody. Gus bus stopped 27 to 28 shots for the Wild. They had a 1-0 lead forever. Colorado tied it in the third period. Went to overtime. Nobody scored. Wild hit 2 of their 3 shootout opportunities. Colorado had 0. They missed their first 2, so the ball game was over at that point, and the Wild got a much-needed victory and a much-needed 2 points to cut into the Avs' lead over them for the final spot in the Central Division and extend their lead certainly over Vancouver, who's right now out of the playoff spot, to keep them 8 points clear of missing the playoffs altogether. So as it is now, I think the Wild have 78 points and are in the number 1 wild card spot.
If the Vikings bring in Alan Lazard, then Rodgers is definitely coming.
That's true.
He does have his favorites, doesn't he?
Devontae Adams already
That's already going to
LA, right?
We'll give him Cooper Kupp.
And I think that was official that the Rams informed him that they were going to let him go today.
I think we want Kupp regardless of Rodgers, right?
I agree with that.
There's every reason to believe that we would like to that the head coach is fascinated by him, and we can obviously get him at a cheaper price.
He's worth kicking the tires on, 100%, for sure.
And what we were reminded of yesterday by Seifert is that he's known as a very good blocking receiver. You know, we still need to shore up our running game. We might have done that with the changes to the offensive line. We might have given ourselves some more physicality. But we can get another receiver who can throw a good blocker, too. What the hell's wrong with that?
Nothing.
It's
Wild Rangers tomorrow night right here at XL Energy Center. Russo Radio will join you tomorrow at 4:30 for his.
It's going to be a very busy show tomorrow.
It is.
Very busy.
Very busy Thursday. Mike Conley's going to be a part of those proceedings tomorrow at the top of the show, 3 o'clock. Why? Well, because he joins us every other week, but it's also a showdown game in the Mile High City.
Yeah.
You'll hear it right here on the Fan tonight. The tip-off is 9. And it's the Denver Nuggets, the 2 seed right now in the Western Conference. Actually, I think they're the 3. Let me pull it up. They are.
Yeah,
they're the 2 seed.
They've
gone back ahead.
The
Lakers have lost 2 in a row.
Obviously, they got no LeBron for a while, and your guy Luka has been shooting poorly.
That's a shame.
Like one of his games was like 9 for 30 or something, 9 for 27.
The Wolves right now are a half game back of Golden State for the 6. What about a Lakers-Wolves 3-6 first-round matchup? I don't think I could handle that. I might not be able to watch. I'm still so mad about the Luka thing.
That would be very dangerous.
And my buddy Trudell, he's a good friend of mine. I don't even want to talk to him.
I don't think you want to. I think what you want to play. I think we could beat. To me, the vulnerable teams are Memphis. That started great, but it's kind of faded. And
same with Houston.
I think those are the teams. I don't know if the math would add up. But obviously, you want to get out of the play-in, right? The goal is to get to 6.
Yeah.
But guess what? Golden State's got that same goal in mind, and they won't lose.
They've won 5 in a row, as have your Minnesota Timberwolves. Memphis and Houston have both won 3 in a row here after scuffling a little bit.
Okay.
So everybody's winning right now in this little quadrant, whatever you want to call section that the Wolves are in.
The plateaus, there's Oklahoma City on one plateau, right?
Yep.
And then Is it 3 teams in the next plateau? Because isn't there a big gap between the teams we're competing with and then the teams in front of us? Isn't there like a 4 or 5 game gap?
There's really only a 3-game gap. So Denver, well, it depends on who you look at. So Denver's 42-23. Then the Lakers are 40-23.
Well,
Memphis is 41-24. Houston's 40-25.
Those are all gaps well beyond us. That's what my point, right? How many games? I mean, we're way behind those records.
We are
40-25. What are we?
4.5.
Yeah, that's not enough games left. We ain't going to get into there, I don't think. That's why I say I think we're in the next group.
Golden State and us have 37 victories.
And even the Clippers, right?
Clippers have 35.
Right.
So they're a couple of games behind us, or a game and a half behind us at this point. With the Wolves' schedule, I could see them catching Houston or Memphis if they continue to slide.
You got to be really hot. Yeah, I think that's true.
Winning tonight would go a long way, and you'll hear it tonight on the Fan.
Is Rudy going to play? He's listed as questionable tonight. I don't know if that's automatic because he's still kind of trying to round into shape, but I'm assuming he's going to play. We have any indication that he's not at this point?
I haven't seen any of that. I would assume by about 7 o'clock our time.
Do you remember who guarded Joker earlier? I mean, obviously in the playoffs, that was Towns' big breakout moment. He was very good harassing, or good enough harassing Joker. Obviously, he's not around, right?
I remember Rudy guarding him initially.
That's what I thought, too, in the last time we played him in the regular season.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else. I guess you could try Nas a little bit, but he's not big enough, I don't think.
And I'm trying to think, when did we play them? We played them.
It's been a while,
We beat them November 1st. And have we played them since then? I don't know.
That's a long time ago.
I don't know if we played them since. We did. Okay. Yeah, we've beaten them twice. We beat them both times here.
Okay.
January 25th.
That was the last time. Okay.
Yeah, a month and a half ago.
Yeah.
So now we're returning the 2 games there in the next couple of weeks. But I feel like Rudy guarded him most.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because I think we talked about it at the time. Because the original deal was, well, no, you want Rudy to roam. And you want, if Cat can handle him much of the time, then that will indeed work. And I think also our big approach was we don't double him. Because if you double him a lot, he'll carve your ass up because he's just too good a passer.
And I
still tend to think that's the best way to approach it.
I do too. What's making it more dangerous now is he's shooting threes better.
Yeah, he is.
Because that's one where
he's shooting over 40%.
He hasn't always wanted to shoot the three.
This is his best 3-point shooting year in his entire career.
So there you go.
That's close enough to 5. Kessler's going to join up about 5:30. We got to talk a couple people off the ledge via the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line at 64686. And then plenty of political stuff with Special K at the bottom of the hour. Did you see the breaking load management news story out of the NBA offices in New York, New York?
The Jazz got fined, right?
Jazz got fined a hefty, I guess this is considered hefty, I don't know, $100,000 for violating the league's player participation policy. The violation occurred when the Jazz failed to make Lauri Markkanen, a star player under the policy, available for the team's game against the Washington Wizards on March 5 at Capital One Arena, as well as other recent games. He did not play against us in the game they beat us, did he? I don't think
I'll look at the box score. I don't remember off the top of my head.
The policy, which was adopted prior to the 2023-24 season, is intended to promote participation in the NBA's regular season. Yeah, we haven't had a lot of, load management fines, but that's one of them. Is that
so? They were so mad. They were so mad at the Celtics for doing what we talked about yesterday that they fined Utah. Is that what we're doing?
That's basically
the Jerry Tarkanian line.
Well, yeah. I mean, as I said, the hard part with getting mad at Boston is, they've got people off the bench coming in and scoring 40, and they win the game anyway. So
Markkanen did not play against us.
How mad can you be at a team that still puts on a real good performance? That's game 1 of the doubleheader tonight, Okie City in Boston. And then the Wolves and Denver will be the second game, and all the action, as Gaardsy mentioned, will be available to you on the Fan. It's just like Rodgers to string out an offseason decision, and you guys are why he does it. You fan his flames. Well, you sort of have to get over that. That's all true, but that doesn't mean. I mean, again, let's make this very clear. Forget Aaron Rodgers. If the Vikings wanted to end this, they can end it immediately, and they still well might. Okay? Forget Rodgers, though. So this isn't just on Rodgers. Clearly, for the Vikings, they know everything about A-Rod. They know you got to hold your nose. They know he's a diva. They know all of those things, but something is still making them consider this. And to that extent, then it becomes a story. And you sort of, even if you're playing into his ego by doing it, that's sort of the price of doing business with Aaron Rodgers, right? That's what you have to decide.
Eyes wide open.
Exactly. And you have to, again, you do have to be honest. If your head coach, the quarterback whisperer, says, I don't think he's got that much left, then again, I would say it's already would be over, and we would have brought in another backup quarterback, including maybe Kirk Cousins, who could get back. He can get back number 8 here, right? He comes back here. He's 18 there. It could be 8 here if he wanted to be.
Yeah, 8's available because that's what Rodgers wore the last couple of years in New York.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
8 and 12 are both available.
How many load management violations have there been in the NHL this year? Dan. That's from Fallness. I'm guessing. Or a Fallness wannabe, for sure. Where was the other one I wanted to get to? Thielen will be a great wide receiver 3 for the Vikings. He can teach the others how to run routes. No, that just jogged my memory. If the Vikings do not end up bringing Aaron Rodgers in, it should have, in my mind, nothing to do with this alleged concern that, God, he'd be a terrible influence on J.J. McCarthy. I just don't buy that angle. I'm aware of how toxic Rodgers can be. I might have a little bit more faith in the kid. I just don't think he's an adult. He's young, but he's an adult. I think, isn't he? Is he 21? 22? How old is he? How old is
He's probably
JJ?
21.
Maybe he's 21. Whatever. Yeah. But what I'm saying is this idea that Aaron Rodgers is going to influence him and lead him around by the nose, and by the end of it, he's going to be as toxic as A-Rod. I think it's nonsense. I just
turned 22.
I don't think any QB has that kind of power, and I, again, think he's got enough of his own person and enough personality that it's not going to be like, well, I used to be one way, and then I met Aaron Rodgers, and then I became a jackass.
Well, if he's that malleable, then he's not your guy anyway.
That's also true.
Something else was going to influence him the wrong way.
It's a cool angle. I get it. It's like people. It's easy to say, but if I'm listing the reasons to not make this dive and actually consider it, that is not in my top 10. It just isn't. I just don't think it. I think that's it. We like to believe that nonsense. I just don't buy it because I think enough of these individuals are independent enough that would not be an issue. The reason to me should be we don't think there's that much left. And if we are going to put up with all the drama, which we know is part and parcel, part of the deal with him, then you still have to believe he's got one great year in him. Not a good year, right? You're looking for a great year.
You're looking for 09 Favre.
It's exactly what you're looking for.
That's what you're looking for.
Well, that's another thing. Somebody texted earlier and said, well, how'd that work out? Well, good the first year. They didn't go to the bowl.
No.
Right? We know that.
But it was a magical season.
It was a terrific season before he went across the body. And I don't know, does that, Favre weighing in, does that help us or hurt us? I don't know exactly. Does he? They're not very tight, are they, A-Rod and Favre?
I mean, they had kind of a come to Jesus. I think they got along enough.
Yeah.
Post-retirement for Favre. I don't know if anybody's super tight with Favre at the moment, given his legal issues, besides Fox News.
Well, yeah, there's that. I would say, again, let's say Rodgers would be really toxic with JJ. He's not going to be here after this year. So whatever, it's not like the damage is going to be irreversible. He's going to have to go to a darkness retreat to sort of get back into his own, get more familiar with his own head. I just don't
A-Rod's cleanse.
No, it's an interesting thought. KOC might need one by the end of the season, or maybe not. Maybe KOC says, no. I got this. That's the whole point, as we talked about yesterday, too. Vikings played the Jets last year. They saw him firsthand. They'll know if he's got anything left or not. Did we play the Jets last year?
In London.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
How did he play in that game? I don't even remember.
He played better in the second half. We got out to a big lead.
That's right.
Hung on.
That's right.
At a late interception to kind of finally dagger them. But it was closer than it should have been after the Vikings got off to a big start. I think he threw a pick 6 in that game.
Oh, he did. You're right.
If I'm remembering correctly. So he didn't play great, but then he played pretty well and then threw the pick. Then their coach got fired and all things went to hell.
If Rodgers is an option here, why not use him and JJ in some kind of hybrid where each quarterback plays in a game? the A-Rod package and the JJ package. Good luck. That's all I can say to that. Now, maybe we find a way to get him in for a couple of plays, but that's it. I don't think A-Rod is going to take very kindly to that. By the way, texter guy, not fallness. I'm a fallness Bobo, the person who did the cheap shot about load management not taking place in the National Hockey League. I don't really think there have been that many occasions. I think it's gotten better in the league, in the NBA this year. I don't think there's been as much of it. I think what is always in question is whether players are held out longer than need be for injuries than they used to. Just sort of the chronic kind of aches and pains kind of injuries as opposed to the more significant stuff. That part, difficult to say. Maybe that's a subject we'll address with Mike Conley, who is going to join us tomorrow. In addition, tomorrow, Sean Salisbury is going to join us. Robert Smith is going to join us. And who am I forgetting?
Russo Radio.
That's a pretty good show. Is it a full show on Thursday?
It's a full show, and we're going to need it. We're going to need every last second of it.
Yeah, you're very, very, very true, Davey. And by then, that'd be great if, the word comes down one way or another on A-Rod, and then we can go right to Salisbury, right? That'd be a wonderful time if we could pull it off. And I have no idea what Robert Smith's position is on A-Rod. He'll take one, though. He's usually pretty honest about that.
He'll give us his thoughts.
And Sean will as well. Let's get to some Kessler stuff. He might even have an opinion on bringing in A-Rod. A couple of interesting. It's uncanny. Every week on Wednesday when we have Kessler on, I get a bunch of texts hookah related. It's like clockwork, and we didn't even really do any cheap shots with Kessler when it comes to that stuff today. I think they just associate him.
People are conditioned
with hookah. So
everybody's got a rep.
Well, and that apparently right now is his.
I wish the American media would take a great look at the views of the people in Congress and find out, are they pro-America or anti-America?
Pat Kessler.
Because people have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
I can't trust Obama. He's an Arab.
Pat Kessler.
Tear down this wall.
I did nothing wrong at the Minneapolis airport.
Senator, you're no Jack Kennedy.
Pat Kessler. And now, to help Dan break down all the tough questions in politics,
Not long enough.
It's our own Pat Kessler political.
There's another soundbite.
I feel like a
show.
supermodel, except like times 10.
It's Channel 4's
Need more Trump.
with Dan Barrero on the Fan.
64686, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN. Text line. Kessler is indeed back with us. Why is it that every week when we have you on, people start sending me hookah stories and marijuana stories unprompted? I mean, what is that? Do you feel like...
I'm clean, man.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not illegal, but do you feel stereotyped a little bit? And do you feel like you're objectified in that sense?
I do, and I would appreciate it more if it was illegal, because that puts me in the danger zone, kind of on the edge, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess I do.
So, yeah, I take what I can get. I welcome all comments, hookah, cannabis, ganja related.
Somebody, let me find the most recent one. Did I star it or not?
Although there's so much more to me than that.
Yeah, that's the risk you run. Because
I contain
here
multitudes.
This is from 701 guy. This is Flim Flam, who's in Boulder, Colorado right now.
Love that. Love it. Love the name also.
Speaking of, living the cliche, I just smoked a spliff on top of a mountain. Who, for the love of spliffs, smokes indoors? That's Flim Flam, shockingly, in Boulder.
Well, the key to that sentence, the key to the text, on top of a mountain.
Yeah, that's it.
And I'm guessing outside on top of the mountain, seated, legs crossed.
Sure.
Lotus position.
Oh, my God. How good does that get?
It's so good.
Are we
getting high, listening to you? Getting high.
While you're up high.
Getting by. Right there.
Very well said. It's not on your list, but do we have an update we can give people on the breakout of, no, not breakout, what's the term I'm looking for, of the cannabis industry, all the new stuff that the new businesses, the new... What's the word? Not breakout. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well,
what's the term I'm looking for when you're starting that? You're introducing it.
Yeah, the startup.
The rollout? The rollout. Thank you. The rollout. That's what I was looking for. The rollout.
Well,
so where are we on this?
Well, according to the columnist for the Star Tribune, It is in dire straits.
Who wrote that?
It's their columnists.
They have these new columnists. Cannabis columnists.
The cannabis. How about that for a good job, by the way?
That's a good.
We're looking for an expert
too.
Yeah. I got to look that up just so I can give credit
Proper
where
credit
is due. Yeah.
So that individual is suggesting it's still a complete train wreck.
Yeah, that it has held back. We should be much farther ahead as far as regulation, as far as cities setting this up, as far as the guardrails that are up, and in my case, the ganja garden on the side of the house. All of that is way, way, way beyond schedule.
Is it ever going to get on schedule?
Yeah, absolutely it will.
Well, yeah, but what year? I mean, we've been doing this and we still don't have a high commissioner, correct? That's still that
is
part of the problem.
And so yes, Clement Dabney, he is the Minnesota Star Tribune's cannabis columnist.
Okay,
and a couple of days ago, he had a column in which he wrote asked this question: is Minnesota's cannabis industry cannabis market already in trouble? And
the answer is yes.
Well, when you write a column like that, the answer is yes.
Yes.
So because of the slow rollout, because of
what gets fixed first, Southwest Light Rail or cannabis rollout? Which one comes first? Or sports gambling? That's it. The Holy Grail. That's the trifecta right there.
That's it right there. Well, now that the legislature is back into a 67-67 tie,
we'll get to that in a minute.
I'm expecting them to roll out the cannabis. I want to stay with cannabis culture because maybe I should have that at the Vikings. By the way, cannabis culture.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So it's all the rulemaking. All of this stuff is going much more slowly than anticipated. Now, and think about the public safety part of this. Every city has to make its own rules. There have to be new rules put out for the manufacture, for the distribution, for the sale. All of this has to be worked out. Even though, when did we pass this? Like
5
years ago?
Yeah.
It was like the mid-2000s. Yeah. Even though this passed many years ago, this still has not really taken off. And is that a good thing? We're measure twice, cut once, or is this, smoke them if you got them?
Well, you're going to get the pothead community is going to be bitter if you start questioning this whole momentum.
Although I'm not, if you're going to pass a law, I would figure they would have passed it with all of these questions answered and not make it up as you go along.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's where we are. It is interesting. And all I know is that ever since I've been on speaking with you over the last few minutes, my mind just is wandering to Flim Flam Man on top of the mountain.
Such a great image, isn't it?
I know.
Flim Flam Man.
It's almost like, I know. It's like a cartoon image.
Too good.
Thank you, Flim Flam Man.
This is from, let's check the area code here. I think it's 414.
Where's that? Is that Boston? Where is that? 414?
Yeah, 414. Now it's Milwaukee, isn't it?
Milwaukee. Yeah. Okay.
Would Kessler rather straighten out government spending and make the U.S. financially and fiscally responsible, or would he rather run Tesla in exchange for free hookah lifetime? It's an interesting choice.
Devil's bargain.
Yeah, that's it. That's where you want to go.
Devil's bargain. Run Tesla with a lifetime spliff on top of a mountain.
Well, you get the spliff either way. It's so in exchange, or no, maybe he just means for the Tesla part, you get the spliff.
Yeah, that's the trade-off. Only that.
Right.
Only that.
Interesting choice.
Yeah,
you have to think about that.
That's a choice. That's a Solomon's choice. There, you can't pick one or the other. Take care of government, and then when you do that, fix all the marijuana laws.
Did you see the tweet? I retweeted it. I don't know who this individual is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's real, but it's clever. Andrew Stiles quoted himself from what he claims was a tweet in 2015. Now, that might have been satirical, but stay with me. 2015 tweet, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Within a decade, Sean Hannity will be bragging about owning an electric car, and left-wing radicals will be blowing them up in protest.
He did not do this 10 years ago. No, I take him at his word.
How good? It's a good line, regardless, is it not? Because everything's turned now. Now the righties are, I got to get my second electric car, and this guy Elon's the greatest. And the lefties are like, we're getting rid of all of our electric cars. We can't stand our electric cars now because we associate it with Musk.
And it is now considered a stain on your character if you own a Tesla.
That's correct. A Tesla in particular.
It's pretty amazing. And although the Tesla is not really affected by all of the tariffs that the president has imposed. Funny how Tesla is escaping a lot of this regulation. But the EV industry is
not
going
that
to be
funny
damaged.
when you see the commercial they did in front of the White House.
How about that?
You can't make it up, can you?
No.
So what do we do with that?
Get your Tesla
as
here.
you know, it's done to get people going. So then you're back to that whole deal of, do you rise to the bait and get going, or are you supposed to ignore it? What are you supposed to do about the president doing a commercial, a TV commercial, in front of the White House with the vehicles right there for your guy Elon Musk? What are we supposed to do with this?
It was a little shocking to me because of the pretty clear conflict of interest on many different levels.
Yes.
And then when you look at it right on, but eye to eye, look at this thing. Most people, I think, in this country are going to say, "Hey, yeah, I'm going to get one.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I will." Now, I have to look this up, but as I was coming in today, I had heard that President Trump sent out a tweet saying, if you go on this tweet, you will get $1,000 off your Tesla. Yes.
He did not.
Okay. Listeners, look it up for me.
Earlier today?
Yes. So on his Truth Social, and he's telling the truth. He spoke a truth. If you buy one now, you get this.
Any electric car or just a Tesla?
No, just a Tesla. Just a Tesla. Okay, listeners, please help me out with this.
Okay.
Yeah, look at it. All right, so this was so crazy. The president apparently has not been in the front seat of a car for many years, if ever. Can you imagine President Trump driving a car?
Not really.
I can't. I mean, think about it.
It's probably been 20 years, yeah.
Well, or maybe ever.
Ever. Yeah, you're right. Maybe ever. Yeah, has he ever driven a vehicle?
Does he have a driver's license?
Does he have a license? That's a good question.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
Because he got in this car and he looked at the panel at the dashboard.
Looked confused?
Well, he said, wow, everything's computer. and then Elon, I mean, this was just beautiful. It was perfect. Elon says to him, Mr. President, it's literally like a golf cart that goes really fast.
He didn't say that.
Yes, he did. I'm not making it up.
Okay. All right. If you say so. Can I ask you another thing?
Sure.
And this again falls in the classification of, I mean, you rise to the bait or not. But when you have the press secretary double down on more than anything else, President Trump believes that Canada would be best served as the 51st state. How far are we going to carry this nonsense? In all seriousness, how far are we going to declare war on Canada? Might we invade? How far are we going to go with this nonsense that Canada should be serving us and that they'd be better off as a 51st state? I mean, what's the end game of this?
You know, at first it was supposed to be a joke.
Yes.
It was never a joke. It was always deeply offensive to Canadians in particular, but I think to many Americans as well.
And that's what the booing was about at the anthem. That was booing the anthem of the United States. It was booing this nonsense.
And then it was about fentanyl, according to the president. Then it was about a trade imbalance. Then it was about getting ripped off by Canada. Then it was about Trudeau disrespecting him and making eyes at Melania. And then it was one thing after another. But as CNBC, some of these financial reporters are now just saying out loud, this is insane. If you say, if you don't, I'm going to tariff you at a 50% rate unless you become our 51st state. Where are we? It's very entertaining.
It's entertaining, but I would ask whether even the biggest Trump fans are going, well, this isn't what I had. What are we doing? But on to that point, Jan 30, there was you and I talked about this, but I don't know if we talked about it on the air. A visit to the library and performance space. The U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security. Do you know who she is?
Kristi Noem, your gal, South Dakota governor.
She crossed back and forth over the makeshift border marking So she was in on this same nonsense. USA #1, she said, before stepping into Canada and referring to the country as the 51st state. Now, again, it's supposed to be a joke. It's not literal. It's, I guess, figurative. But what purpose does it serve? In all seriousness, what are we doing?
The taunting.
I'm not even going to look at the text line today.
The taunt.
For the record, by the way, just in case. So don't bother.
No, it'd be good for me.
Yeah, it might be.
The taunting of our closest rivals by people who are kowtowing to what the president says and trying to curry favor with the president. I mean, this is something that I would do, at my current age, but particularly when I was 14. Like, don't touch your brother. Don't touch him. Do not. Don't touch me. I'm not touching you. And
yes, exactly.
It's like that. So the taunting is really tough.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. It's based on a schoolboy taunt, a bullying taunt, and on something that isn't true, and that is that the border is porous and all this fentanyl is pouring in, which is not true.
No.
So,
also
interesting to watch.
This is another one that wasn't on your list, but I want to at least mention because I'd meant to get to it yesterday. Mm-hmm. So a U.S. Senator by the name of Mark Kelly, he goes to Kiev and calling for the defense of Ukraine. Okay. Mm-hmm. And there are a couple tweets about him, a couple quotes from him about his view of how important it is to continue to defend Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. And your guy, the Tesla guy, you saw the tweet from him, right, Elon Musk?
I did.
He is a traitor. A traitor. That's actually what he, and again, it's a free country. You can say whatever you want. But the ramifications of this guy having the audacity to call a U.S. senator, who, by the way, flew upwards of, I think, 39 or 50 combat missions over Iraq, piloted the space shuttle 4 times, and all he did was go to Ukraine to basically say, I want to try to continue to support you. And this clown gets to say, traitor. Without because I get it, because he's feeling it, man. He feels like he's the king of the world. He can say and do whatever he wants at this point. I can't be stopped. Does it bother even the hardcore Trump folks? Does it bother any of you that's what he feels emboldened to call him? You can disagree with him, whatever. He's a traitor. It's just such dangerous language.
And he responded, Senator Kelly did, about the immigrant from South Africa through Canada named Elon Musk, said that perhaps you don't understand what America is all about. He said, if you don't understand that defending freedom is a basic tenet of what makes America great and keeps us safe, maybe you should leave it to those of us who do. But again, in a bigger picture, this is
all part of the same.
The guardrails are gone.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want. You can accuse someone of anything, even though it's not true. And if there is a bigger patriot than Mark Kelly, show me.
All right, let's go local for a bit. By the way, you alluded to it, but we should mention the DFL wins a special election for that voided Minnesota House seat. So now the House is back to the 67-67 tie.
Oh, my God.
So are we all getting along on this? Now, whatever deal was made, right, a while back to bring everybody back in, is everybody adhering to the deal, or is there any kind of blowback?
Yeah, so far, this happened on yesterday, that the Democrats won the special election in that voided House seat. So now it is tied 67-67. Just to review, the deal is that a Republican, Lisa Demuth, is now the Speaker of the House. The Democrats and Republicans will alternate the chairs to being chairmen and chairwomen of the important committees. And they have, so that is how they will navigate this and pass bills through the Minnesota House. Importantly, also, the Republicans will control one committee that they insisted on, and that is to investigate fraud in the state of Minnesota. Now, I think we can all agree. I think in general, people say, let's take a look at this. Let's figure out what we're doing wrong when it comes to fraud in state and federal programs in the state of Minnesota, and let's figure out how to fix it. That is probably not going anywhere, but it's an important focus of the legislature. So they're going to go ahead and now they can just do bickering with equally divided Minnesota House. And the Senate is just a one-vote Democratic margin. So essentially we are in gridlock, and you've just got to do the things that are important, and that is keep the government running. But
well, you have as an aside, let's get back to work on that sports betting bill. Are we, or is that dead again? Because I thought,
oh, you're so cute.
Did I not read within the last few weeks that there was a bill that a lot of folks had signed off on, including, I thought, the tribes, that still, though, was being held up for other reasons that have to do with we don't know, we want to do it just because everybody else is, because there's addiction issues, whatever. So where are we with this thing?
Well, it is still stuck in committee. Unclear whether it is going to get out in time for this legislature. It's very possible. I was surprised, for example, when the Minnesota legislature passed the cannabis law in the state of Minnesota. I did not think that was going there. This is similar to that in that this would change the culture in the state of Minnesota. It does appear that there is an agreement, but this is one of these cases where the righties of the right and the lefties of the left agree on this, and they've
found common cause.
Yeah, absolutely. And that this does not represent the values of what government should be about, what the state of Minnesota is about. It is immoral, and the state should not be involved in gambling. The downside of gambling, especially for younger people and children on a phone, in a casino, whatever, this is the argument that has kind of held it up until now. If it passes, I mean, Katie barred the door, but, it's going to be interesting to see.
All right, we got a lot more ground to cover. Let's try to stay somewhat on schedule. Kessler is with us for at least another solid segment. I want him to weigh in on all the A-Rod speculation, because it's always we get caught up in it here, and sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. So he can kind of come in from outside. He's a sports guy, but not really. So we'll get the Kessler view on whether he thinks any of this is real, or that the Vikings are just trolling everyone by not closing the door, even though they have no intention of leaving the door open for Aaron Rodgers. And there's some, it sounds like there's some bitterness about Kristen, I should say, Gillibrand, that we need to discuss as well. And there's a lot of other stuff. We're not going to be able to cover all of it, but there's a lot of other good stuff, meaty stuff to get to. Part 2 with Special K. Pat Kessler, keep the text coming, 646-86. Back in just a couple minutes, right here in the Fan. Kessler Part 2 is indeed with us. So there's endless postmortems, even this far after the election last November, presidential election. And now we have another postmortem in which the governor of the great state of Minnesota is, I don't know if he's quoted directly or indirectly in this piece that you cite directly on the Hill.
Directly.
So directly. And he's basically saying we didn't take the fight to folks the way I thought we should take the fight. That's basically what he is now saying?
Yes, he is now making the rounds because he is considering running for president. Now, it's fairly early. I know it's 4 years out, but that's where we are with campaigns now. And he has got, at this moment, as good a shot as anybody to be president of the United States. Says he's not going to run for Minnesota Senate, may run for governor again. But now we are getting to a point where he is trying to thread the needle of here's what we did wrong in this campaign, and I don't want to criticize Kamala Harris. Now, interestingly, he has not spoken with her very much since the loss in November. You would think that it was a 90-day campaign, let's be honest, and it was pretty intense, but they have spoken only twice, is my understanding, since the election. he is trying to figure out, as all the Democrats are, what did we do wrong? Among the things that he says they did wrong is that they didn't engage with voters. There was so much analysis paralysis at the top of the ticket that if we do this and we're going to offend this group of people, we don't want to alienate this group of voters. And so, according to him, they didn't do as much as they should have, actually going into town halls, actually taking criticism, answering protesters.
Going on Fox News, doing it all. And they didn't do it. And sounds like he's thrown her under the bus.
He says that we should not have been playing this thing so safe. This is what he told Political just a couple of days ago. He says, I think we should probably have just rolled the dice, done the town halls. Viewers and voters may come in and say, you're full of blank. I don't believe in you. I think we should have done more of that. I don't disagree. I think that is something that we are seeing now, that a lot of Democrats are starting to go on Fox. I don't think Walz was afraid of doing it.
But he didn't have permission.
He did not have permission. So when you're the second on the ticket, I mean, he might have been really good. The folksy charm of the dude, they would have ripped him a new one. But I think that makes sense to me that you do that and just take it on because they got to figure it out now.
Is the Department of Education no more?
Getting to that point, for those who don't know, the U.S. Department of Education is shut down today for security reasons, according to the Trump administration. President Trump has made clear that he wants to eliminate the Department of Education. They cannot do that unless they have congressional approval. But today, the Secretary of Education, your gal, the former CEO of WWE Wrestling, Linda McMahon, she is now the education secretary, has shut it down. They're laying at least half of the employees of the department off. That's 2,100 employees. And then they're going to reopen tomorrow and tell people by email if they can come back. So this is going to be a major cutting, 50% staff cut, layoffs, as Elon Musk has been doing with departments all over the federal government. So it's a big deal. They claim that it will not affect services such as Pell Grants, student loans. That's what they administer. I don't know how they do it with half the staff, but, maybe they can. Let's see. And importantly, the money for local school districts to deal with special needs students. Kids who are going to school who have been sent to regular schools so they can learn in the same classroom, kids in wheelchairs with different kinds of physical abilities and disabilities, so they can learn in the same classroom as others. That could be affected. So no, not gone, but they're going to make a move to do that.
Give me an update. This also is not on your list, but it's, I think, worthy of a minute or two. So, as I understand it, Ukraine has said, okay, we're ready to accept the terms of this so-called 30-day ceasefire, for whatever that's worth, by the way. 30 days doesn't sound like much, but I guess you start somewhere. And the question is, well, whether the former commies will agree to it as well. So where are we on that? What kind of timetable are we under, and where is that story headed?
Well, I got to give President Trump credit, even though many people don't agree with how we got here. By the bullying of President Zelensky, our European ally. But in fact, they have kind of negotiated a 30-day ceasefire. Zelensky has agreed to it. Now they're going to Russia and Putin to see if they'll agree to it. But we don't know what that means.
Right.
We don't know if it means that everybody's going to stop all the fighting, all the bombing. Are you going to be able to rearm? Are you going to negotiate a deal in which you are going to give me the security guarantees that I need in order to be safe in our own country? I think this is just kind of a reset. Push the button, hold off. Let's figure out what we're going to do, hit pause. But there is a lot that has been demanded of Ukraine. And I will give you $50 on the spot. I'm pulling out the money.
Ooh.
If
Man,
you
you're
can
loaded.
tell me, look at this.
Look at that.
Look at all the money I got.
Money bags over here.
If you can tell me all of the demands that we have made on the Soviet Union.
Well, we've just done them
$50 right here.
We've done them behind closed doors.
3,
we don't talk about
2,
them.
1,
They're there.
0.
We just don't talk about them. We're waiting. We're going to do.
I mean, it's all secret. I mean, we have demanded quite a bit of Ukraine.
Yes, we have.
We've demanded almost
they don't have
nothing.
any cars. Remember?
There's no cars. I mean, I know this is all transactional, and God bless Trump if he can do this. I mean, it would be fantastic.
If he could literally pull it off, it would be
that's
it'd be,
amazing
Nobel
if he
Peace
can do
Prize.
it.
Yeah.
If in fact he can do this,
a lasting deal.
But you've got to figure out what you're going to do. I mean, are you
in
going
which
to
there's
let
anything left of Ukraine?
Are you going to let exactly?
Yeah.
Are you going to let Putin come in and take all of this land and keep it? I mean, that's crazy. He's a war criminal or being accused of being a war criminal, to be accurate? Are you going to have reparations? Does Russia pay for rebuilding Ukraine? There are so many things.
Do we get any minerals from Russia?
Yeah, I mean,
do we get a mineral deal from Russia too?
I mean, maybe you go in there and take that. Is Ukraine going to be allowed to join NATO? Is it going to be a neutral country? Is it going to be the Switzerland of Europe? This is all the stuff that has to be negotiated. Highly doubt they can do this in 30 days, but go for it. I mean, I think it's a really good sign.
Are you yay or nay on the Vikings allegedly playing footsie?
Don't ask me this.
With Aaron Rodgers. Just saying. Everybody
That's a tough question.
It is a tough question.
Those are the tough questions
Very
right
tough,
here.
Yeah. Are you tempted or you go, no, he doesn't have enough left. He's crazed. He's a pain in the ass, and I can live with the pain in the ass if he's great, but he's not great anymore, so what are we doing? Get to McCarthy.
The Wilfs have done so much for this football team. They have kept every promise, but one of them...
Except for the Super Bowl.
Except for one.
Yeah.
And we'll get there.
Yeah, there's still time.
Maybe it's with Rodgers. Wait a minute. Whoa. No, look at this. One of the things that they did was build a team that there was harmony and love.
Collaboration
in the locker room. My big question is, what does Aaron Rodgers bring? Does he have his own locker far away from everybody else?
Locker. He's probably got his own office.
Maybe he's got his own locker room.
Yeah. Well, Brett, the word didn't that eventually get leaked that Favre was not always dressing with the rest of the team?
In New York, yeah.
Oh, that was New York. That wasn't here.
Yeah,
so he's not dressing with the team, and what was he doing with the cell phone then?
Well, that's another story for another show.
So, no, I mean...
Good callback.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. That's Kessler for you. That's exactly immediately where his mind went. No.
I mean, why do you want your own locker room?
We don't know that A-Rod would do that. That's the question.
I mean, he is... Let's face it, he's an incredible quarterback. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
First ballot.
Does he have another one in him?
That's the question.
If he has a year left, can he be collaborative?
Think about what Vikings coverage.
Please don't talk me into this.
Would be like in this town.
Please don't talk me into this.
In the fall. There would be nothing like it.
Okay, so when Brett Favre comes here and everybody's like, nah, come on.
Yeah.
And then we have helicopter television cameras and we're following the parade.
Yes.
And I mean, would we do that with him?
Oh, 100%.
Would he
we
let
do
us?
it even times 10 because there's more social media. No, it'd be beyond huge. It would be, I've already declared, it would be the biggest story in Vikings history. Doesn't mean it'll work, but I do believe it would be the biggest story in the history of this franchise.
And meanwhile, he is walking the beaches of
Malibu,
of California,
very pensively,
with headphones
on, barefoot,
listening either to
ruggedly handsome.
Oh my God,
the Calm app.
Yeah, the Calm app. That's it.
Or Daft Punk, one of the two.
Could be that too. You're right.
You know, in his moments of introspection. I mean, it would be a hell of a story. And as reporters, do we just want to go with the best story?
I do.
In many cases, yes.
Yeah, selfishly, I do.
Or do you want the Vikes to go to the Super Bowl?
They ain't going to the Super Bowl with McCarthy this year.
Or is it both in this case? Huh? I don't know. Please don't talk me into this.
Yeah,
Please don't do this.
I hope we know soon. I just hope we get to the resolution soon. But too many reporters that I respect are saying they are talking about it. Doesn't mean they're going to do it.
Deafening.
But the silence is deafening. 100% true. Meanwhile, we made a bunch of great free agency acquisitions.
Love it. I love it. Kwesi's
line
a
of
genius.
scrimmage,
Genius.
offensive line, defensive line.
Go for the line.
Meat and potatoes is still what this game is all about.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right, you'll be back as far as we know next week?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? No reason not to.
No, I mean, I got nothing.
You got nothing. Might as well.
I'm busier now than I've ever been.
That's very, very true, Davey. Thanks for coming to see us.
All right, man.
Pat Kessler, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock on Channel 4, at least once upon a time.
Show Wrap presented as always by American Pressure, commercial-grade pressure washer since 1975.
It's the Bumper to Bumper Show Wrap.
Controversial show today that included a very, I thought, interesting emotional discussion with Rick Bozich, my old buddy from Indiana University, my old college roommate, who has been a fixture in Louisville, Kentucky for decades. We talked some college hoops with him, and then we also talked about his outstanding ode to the late, great Junior Bridgman, a player you may never have heard of, but as Bozich said, and as I certainly believe, you should know of him because he's a former basketball player who made himself about much more than the basketball. A level of maturity and success that a lot of people don't even know about, and yet that level of success, one of the richest men, one of the richest black men, as Bozich said, in the country, who has gone above and beyond, though, just the wealth, in that he's one of those guys. Well, at the end of the what's the Christmas movie with Jimmy Stewart?
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. What's the toast? The last line from his brother, to my brother, the richest man in town. And Junior Bridgman was rich beyond just the money because of the ways he tried to use his influence and his power and his financial resources to help people. The list of stories goes on. Plus, he was a hell of a basketball player. He was part of the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade. He was with the Lakers, got traded to the Bucks, had a very good professional career, had a great college career at Louisville, had a historic career as a high school player, about a hop, skip, and a jump from where Bozich and I grew up in East Chicago, Indiana. If you missed the interview, please podcast it. I think it would be absolutely worth your time. In addition, Kessler, and tomorrow we are chock full. I mean, we got so much stuff tomorrow, it's not even funny. We've got Mike Conley tomorrow. We've got Sean Salisbury tomorrow. We've got Russo Radio tomorrow, and we've got Robert Smith. So obviously with Robert and Salisbury, it'll be to weigh in on the Rodgers deal. Will it be resolved by then? Will it be a moot point by then? I don't know. I keep waiting for the shoe to drop. But in the meantime, reliable reporters continue to say that the Vikings are talking about it. And Rodgers, maybe he'll be out by the beach again today, waiting for a phone call or trying to figure out which direction to go. So all of that will be part of it. And then tonight on the Fan, Wolves-Nuggets, second game of a national doubleheader. We have beaten them twice this year, you mentioned. Last time, remember, Malone called off the Dogs because we ended up winning the last one, I think, by like 25 points. And he gave up like 6 minutes to go in the game. This is the first time we played in Denver since Game 7 last year. You were at that game. Denver's been red hot lately, so it's a nice challenge for the Wolves, who've had a good run, but have been playing mainly pretty mediocre competition. So let's play. Let's see.
Let's see what they have.
See what we have against a better opponent. I'm very much looking forward to that.
Got to get some coffee on the way home.
Yeah, it is a late start, 9 o'clock. A Fan on Demand tonight, and then Wild Weekly that will then lead into the Wolves and the Denver Nuggets. I've given you the lineup for tomorrow, which is even deeper than I could have hoped. With Conley, we'll obviously talk about whatever takes place tonight. I'm assuming he's starting again because Finchie has still been starting Conley. There was a lot of talk with the assumption, they were going to start DiVincenzo. But I think part of this is the old, all right, look, we need offense with the second unit. DiVincenzo with the second unit makes some sense, and chances are he's going to be playing at the end of the game anyway. So it's that cliche, worry less about who starts the game, worry more about who finishes the game. That becomes a lot more important.
I'd say we probably do Dr. Dan's inbox Friday.
I think we should. We should put it off for a day, because Friday we can do it the first hour.
Unless Aaron Rodgers calls in.
Everything gets changed at that point if we, it's all Rodgers all the time.
Maybe I should just reach out to him and say, you want to come on bumper to bumper, 3:30?
That would be a decent get on your part. I'm not going to lie. That would be a pretty good
He's
get.
available, I think, to talk to anybody.
You think he is?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he can talk to anybody he wants.
He
We're
can
not
talk
a
to
team.
anybody he wants. No,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah. But I
say, look, if you really, instead of talking to Mike Silver and Diana Rossini, talk to the people.
Go straight to the flagship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great idea. I know you have all his phone numbers. So good luck with that if he hasn't blocked you by now.
Yeah, he may have blocked me. I don't know.
Very possible. Thanks for watching. Thank you for listening today. And as I mentioned, we'll be back tomorrow with a Power Pack program beginning at 3.
Go get them, Glenn. Show us what you can do.
A lot of things that are easily correctable.
Believe.
PayPal lets you pay all your pals, like your graduation gifters.
Who's paying for the mattress topper?
You mean the beanbag chair?
Aren't we getting a mini fridge?
Can we create a pool on PayPal? It lets us collect the money before we buy.
Ooh, yes, that's smart.
Glad we can agree on something.
Easily pool, split, and send money with PayPal. Get started in the PayPal app. A PayPal account is required to send and receive money. A balance account is required to create a pool.
Optimize your nutrition with Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal service. Factor's fresh, never-frozen meals are dietitian approved and ready to eat in just 2 minutes. Choose from 40 weekly options across 8 dietary preferences, like Calorie Smart and Protein Plus. Factor's keto meals can help you lose up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks. Get started at factormeals.com/factor50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Weight loss with Factor Keto based on a randomized controlled clinical trial. Results will vary depending on diet and exercise.